So Shemai everyone, and welcome to this lesson on creating textured buildings. So this is a really fun lesson and it's a way of creating texture in our artwork, and we'll also be combining two different techniques, and we're keeping in the theme of our last term's project, which was rebuilding the community. So I'm going to go ahead and get straight into it now. What I'd like you to do is watch the entirety of this video first. There's some additional instructions if you need them, and then you're going to go ahead and get started with your task. So what is texture? Well, texture is the way something feels. So if we look at the image in the top right hand corner, just think about how that might feel. Do you think it would be rough, spiky, bubbly? You already have an idea of the way something feels by your sensory experience of that object. So if we're creating texture in our artwork, we're referring to the surface quality of the artwork. So if you can see by the image in the middle, that is something called art rubbings. And I'm sure that you've all tried art rubbings before. Maybe you've done them in primary school, or maybe you've done them at one point in your life. But when we're doing rubbings, what we're basically doing is defining the areas of the object that's underneath it. So let's have a look at these rubbings then. If we have a look at the image on the left, we can see someone's done a rubbing of a coin, which is very detailed. And then we've got some more abstract shapes in the middle. And we've also got some ideas of rubbings that we can do on the bottom. So we've got pennies, maybe different packaging materials such as bubble wrap or puzzle pieces. This is an image that someone has created when they've used rubbings of leaves. So leaves is a really good object to use when you're rubbing, because you can clearly see the stalks and the veins and the edges of the leaf as well. Rubbing is one of the most universal and perhaps one of the oldest techniques used in printmaking. So today we're going to be using rubbing in our work, as it's something that everyone should have access to at home. I'm sure you all have little materials available to you. And we're going to be combining collage. So beth yw collage then? What is a collage? Well, collage describes both the technique and the resulting work of art in which pieces of paper, photographs, fabric and other materials are arranged and stuck down onto a surface. So you may have tried collage before, but what you're doing is cutting up little bits of paper and sticking them down to create a picture. So you can be really detailed with collage, or you can make a really simple collage. And these are some collage examples that I found on Pinterest. So if we mix those two techniques, then we're going to be creating textured collages. So we're going to be doing rubbings of different objects, cutting them out and then collaging them down to make an image. And as we're doing rebuilding the community, we're going to be focusing on buildings. So for your task, you will need 2 sheets of paper, A4 sized, and you can use more if you want to. I'm not going to tell you that you can't do more rubbings if you feel like you want to do more. I think the more is better. So at least do 2 sheets, because you're going to need 1 sheet for your actual collage and 1 sheet for your rubbings. And you're going to need crayons or oil pastels. But don't panic if you don't have these in your house, because you can use colouring pencils or just a regular pencil. I think it's nice to use different colours because then you get a different look of the end result, but that's up to you as well. Just use what you have in your house. You're going to need some glue. If you don't have glue, you could use some sellotape maybe, or you could use some blue tack if you have some of that as well. You're going to need at least 5 different objects to make the textured rubbings. So maybe you could go outside and do some rubbings of a tree, or maybe you could do them on a stone path. So don't worry if you don't have 5 actual objects, because you can always do things outside in your garden as well. Or if you don't have a garden, then you can go outside your house and do them on the wall of your house. And you're going to need a scissors. So some object ideas for you: buttons, stone, bubble wrap, leaves and flowers, tree bark, lace or fabric, stickers, string, coins, anything textural available to you. So if you think something would look cool, just try it and give it a go and see the result. I would like you to do at least 5 rubbings of different objects, but I would suggest that doing 10 is better because you'll have more to choose from when you go to create your collage. So after you've done all your rubbings, what I'd like you to do is cut them out, and then we're going to be collaging them to create a building using the art rubbings. And I want you to be as creative as possible. Make a really cool building. Some ideas could be sci-fi building, so we got a Star Wars building in the top corner. Maybe you want to do something like your Animal Crossing building, that's fine. Maybe you want to do a famous building. It's up to you what you would like to choose. So I'd like you to watch the video now, and the video is just me creating my own collage where I go into a bit more detail about how to actually do the collage. So just watch that now, it's only 3 minutes, and then you'll be going off and doing your own rubbings and collages. So to take a rubbing, first I picked up my object, which is a leaf, and I used a crayon to rub on top of it. You use your crayon on the side, but I noticed that I wasn't pressing down hard enough for the first couple, so if your results are not as good, either your object is not textural enough or you're not pressing down hard enough. The second one I did was much better. You could see the stalk and you could see the edges of the leaf. But I had much better results when I tried doing it on top of a stone. And I tried rubber bands, coins, different types of things like that. I was really happy with the outcome of this leaf because I pressed down much harder, and you can see the difference that it makes as well. Another thing which I found worked well was some stickers. I had these little dot stickers lying around, and lace, so if you have any fabric that you can use maybe. I would suggest that perhaps you go outside and try things like bark and stone. Also, colouring pencils work really well if you don't have any oil pastels or crayons. So this is just an example of the colouring pencils versus the oil pastels. I think it actually came out more detailed. So that's something to consider when you do your own. If you don't have those things, you could use a pencil as well. I used a pencil in this video on the coin. And then what I'd like you to do is cut out all of your rubbings. So hopefully you would have taken around 10 rubbings. I did a lot more just to show you. But I'd like you to cut them all out and then start gluing them down as a collage. So a collage is when we stick bits of paper or different kinds of materials down on a surface. So as you can see, I didn't draw mine out first. You can if you want to. I just wanted to see what types of shapes I could make. So I started doing the windows of my building. I also did a roof. I added some grass, different buildings around it, a clock tower. So you can do whatever you want, be as experimental as you want, and also take inspiration from different things like films, or perhaps you've seen a really cool sci-fi building. The wackier the better, really. And this was the final result, so I hope you liked it. Let me know how you found the class, and upload a photograph of your final collage to Teams so I can see it. Stay safe and good luck, guys. Hoil!